Imagine this: you're standing in a crowded bar, music humming in the background, conversations swirling around you. Your drink is half full, your attention halfway elsewhere. But then, without warning, you feel a pull, a subtle shift. Your body picks up on it before your mind does. You glance up, and there she is. Her eyes linger on you 1 second too long. She looks away, then looks back again, like she's testing a flame with her bare hand. That's when you realize something powerful. Lust doesn't whisper. It bleeds through the cracks. And no matter how carefully a woman tries to mask it, her body betrays her. And if you know what to look for, you'll never miss it again. Here's the brutal truth: most men walk through life blind to these signals. They think women spell it out in words, that attraction is direct and obvious. But the reality, the deepest signals of desire hide beneath polite smiles, casual words, and social games. And when you can't read them, you miss chances. Or worse, you chase when you should have waited. The battlefield of modern dating isn't about who talks the most or tries the hardest. It's about who can detect reality beneath appearances. And the woman who lusts after you, she's giving herself away whether she wants to or not. The first sign is her eyes. Not just a glance, not just a look of curiosity. I'm talking about the magnetic lock, the kind of gaze that lingers even when she tries to disguise it. Her pupils widen slightly when she looks at you. Her gaze dips to your mouth when you speak. And sometimes she scans your frame without realizing it. You've probably seen it before but brushed it off, thinking you imagined it. Let me tell you, you didn't. The eyes don't lie. When she lusts, her eyes betray her hunger. And here's the tactical truth when you notice it: don't overreact. Don't pounce like a starving man. That's what desperate men do. Instead, hold your gaze just long enough for tension to build, then break it casually. That makes her chase the next look. You feed her desire not by giving her everything, but by letting her want more. The second sign lives in her body language. A woman can fake interest with words, but her body leaks the truth. She angles herself toward you even when the conversation shifts. She leans in just enough that her perfume brushes the air between you. Her feet point in your direction when she could easily face anyone else. And when she laughs, her hand brushes your arm, subtle, fleeting, but intentional. These are micro movements, subconscious betrayals of control. But here's the catch: if you respond with too much enthusiasm, if you reward every touch with your own, you kill the polarity. The strategy is restraint. Notice the touch. Acknowledge it with calm presence, but don't mirror it right away. Let her investment sit in the air. Let her wonder why you didn't immediately return it. That's how desire stretches tight instead of snapping loose. Now, let's expose something uncomfortable. Many men mistake friendliness for lust. They confuse polite smiles, basic kindness, or playful energy as proof of desire. That's how men end up chasing women who were never interested. So here's your filter: lust has tension in it. It carries weight. A smile paired with nervous energy. A laugh followed by a pause where her eyes wait for yours. A casual brush that happens more than once. These aren't random. They're repeated signals her body throws out against her better judgment. If you've ever sat there later wondering, was she into me or was I imagining it? Then you already know how slippery this line feels. But once you start stacking these signs, the gaze, the lean, the touches, the picture becomes undeniable. And here's the price of blindness when you ignore these signals. You start overcompensating. You talk more. You explain yourself. You try to entertain her into attraction. That's weakness. The man who doesn't see lust ends up trying to manufacture it. The man who does see it, he plays with silence. He lets the tension work for him. He knows when to slow down his words, when to lean back instead of forward, when to let her squirm in the heat she created. That's the difference between chasing validation and commanding desire. Think about your own life. How many times have you missed these signs because you doubted yourself? How many times have you walked away from a moment replaying it in your head, only to realize days later she was practically screaming attraction with her body? And how many times have you ruined tension by being too quick, too eager, too obvious? These aren't just questions about women. They're questions about how you show up as a man, aware or blind, calm or frantic, sovereign or needy. So let me ask you, have you ever felt that magnetic stare but told yourself it was nothing? Which one of these signals have you ignored in the past, only to regret it later? And what's harder for you, trusting the signs you see, or holding back when you finally notice them? The third sign a woman lusting after you can't hide is her voice. Not just what she says, but how she says it. Pay attention. A woman who feels raw desire for you will unconsciously shift her tone. Her voice softens when she speaks directly to you, even if she was loud with her friends just moments before. Her laughter stretches longer when it's your joke, even if it wasn't that funny. And most telling of all, her pace slows down. Lust doesn't rush, it draws things out. She'll savor her words, pause just enough to let the silence hang, almost as if she wants you to step into it. And if you're sharp, you'll catch her slipping using a lower register, dragging out certain vowels, almost as if she's teasing without saying anything explicit. But here's the tactical key. Don't lean forward into her tone like a thirsty man chasing approval. Match her slowness with calm presence. Let the silence expand instead of filling it. When you hold still, her voice bends toward you, not the other way around. Women don't lust after men who scramble to keep them entertained. They lust after men who know their own gravity. The fourth sign is what I call the unnecessary reason. A woman in lust will invent excuses to be around you, to talk to you, to create just a sliver of space for interaction. She'll ask you about something she already knows, or comment on something meaningless just to spark contact. Maybe she accidentally bumps into you twice in one night. Maybe she remembers something small you said weeks ago and brings it up out of nowhere. It's not the reason that matters, it's the reach. A woman in lust doesn't want to risk looking desperate, but she can't resist reaching out. These reasons are flimsy, but they expose her deeper hunger. Here's where men fail. They take these reasons at face value. They actually start debating the trivial point she raised, as if the topic is the point. It's not. The topic is the bridge. The real test is whether you can read between the lines. Instead of answering her question like it's serious, you flip it. You tease. You smile. You lean back and say, "That's the best excuse you could come up with to talk to me." Watch her reaction. If her face flushes, if her laugh comes quicker than her words, you've confirmed it. She's not here for the reason. She's here for you. Now, let's get into the fifth sign, the one she truly cannot mask. Her loss of composure. Desire cracks through control. A woman who lusts for you will fumble in small ways. She'll stumble over words when she usually speaks smoothly. She'll play with her hair, her jewelry, her drink, anything to manage the nervous energy coursing through her. Sometimes, she'll contradict herself in conversation, saying one thing and then laughing because she knows she slipped. Her cheeks flush. Her breath changes. Her rhythm falters. These aren't flaws, they're confessions. Her body is confessing for her what her pride doesn't want to admit. And here's the cold, practical move. Don't rescue her from her nervousness. Don't smooth it over with jokes or self-deprecation. Let her sit in it. Let her squirm a little. That's where attraction builds. Because when you stay steady while she loses composure, you become the anchor. She feels the imbalance between her chaos and your calm, and that imbalance fuels the fire. But men sabotage themselves right here. They see her nervousness and think, she's uncomfortable, I need to ease it. They start cracking jokes, filling silences, doing anything to lighten the air. That's not leadership, it's weakness. The strongest thing you can do in that moment is nothing. Hold the eye contact. Stay relaxed. Smile faintly. Let her feel her own heart racing while yours stays still. That contrast is what makes her crave you more. Now think carefully, how many times have you overlooked this loss of composure? How many times did you assume she was just clumsy, or shy, or distracted? And how many times did you kill her attraction by rushing to make her feel safe instead of letting her feel the raw edge of desire? These are the moments that separate men who women remember from men they forget instantly. And let me push deeper. What's your own threshold for silence? Can you handle a woman's nervous energy without rushing to ease it? Can you watch her stumble over words without jumping in to rescue her? Can you hold steady while she fidgets, knowing that her body is screaming louder than her mouth ever will? That's not just about women, that's about your discipline as a man. So let me ask you directly, have you ever seen a woman stumble, flush, or fidget around you and realized only later what it meant? Which of these 5 signs is the hardest for you to trust when it happens in real time? And when the tension rises, do you lean into calm or do you rush to fill the silence? Here's the hidden layer most men never grasp. Lust isn't just about what she does, it's about what she stops doing. Desire scrambles her patterns. A woman who normally keeps her composure suddenly loses her rhythm. A woman who prides herself on being hard to get suddenly breaks her own rules. That shift is the truest sign of all. Because while words can be rehearsed and smiles can be faked, the breakdown of control is impossible to disguise. And when you can see it, you hold a power that most men never touch. Picture this, she's in a group conversation, laughing, relaxed, totally in control. Then you enter the space. Suddenly, her jokes are shorter. Her laugh breaks mid-sentence. She checks her phone not because she's bored, but because she doesn't know what to do with her hands. That disruption isn't random, it's you. Lust hijacks her smoothness. And the man who notices, who recognizes the fracture in her armor, gains clarity others miss. But here's the critical move, you don't point it out. You don't tease it clumsily. You let it breathe. You let her be the one who feels exposed while you stay steady. That's how power flips. She realizes she's the one losing ground while you remain rooted. But let's talk about the trap. Too many men, once they notice these cracks, rush to confirm them. They want proof. They press harder, ask leading questions, try to make her admit something. That kills everything. Desire thrives in ambiguity, in tension. The moment you demand clarity, you reduce her lust to logic, and logic always kills fire. The practical strategy is to not need confirmation. You let the signs speak, you trust your read, and you move as if you already know. Because the truth is, you don't win by asking if she wants you. You win by acting like it's already written in the air. Here's a brutal example. A man notices her brushing his arm 3 times in one conversation, instead of holding steady. He blurts out, "Do you like me?" or something. What happens? The spell shatters. She retreats, embarrassed, maybe even defensive. Not because she didn't feel lust, but because he made her own desire awkward. He dragged it into daylight when it thrives in shadows. Contrast that with the man who notices the same touch and says nothing. He just smiles faintly, continues speaking slowly, then pulls back just enough to make her lean in again. That man doesn't beg for proof, he makes her prove it again and again until she's the one chasing escalation. That's control. That's leverage. And here's the hardest truth for most men to swallow. You've probably already been in these moments and ruined them. You've felt the tension, but your nerves got the better of you. You cracked a joke to break the silence. You asked a dumb question to ease your own insecurity. You touched back too soon, killing her investment. And afterward, you walked away thinking she wasn't really into you. Wrong, she was. But you suffocated the fire before it had the chance to burn. That's why self-control isn't just about discipline, it's about attraction. The calmer you remain in the storm of her signals, the more she lusts without even understanding why. Now, let's turn this into cold application. The next time you notice her gaze linger, her voice shift, her body lean, or her composure crack, your job is simple. Don't amplify it. Don't jump to feed it. Just hold steady. Keep speaking slowly. Keep your body language relaxed. Keep silence as your ally. If she touches, let the touch hang in the air before you respond, or don't respond at all. If she invents excuses to talk to you, don't take the excuse seriously. Take the frame. If she stumbles over words, let her stumble. The less you do, the more her desire compounds. That's how you flip from being the man chasing signs to the man she can't hide her lust from. So let me put this on you. Think back, how many times have you broken the tension because you were uncomfortable with silence? How many times did you misread lust as friendliness because you couldn't trust your own instincts? And what would change in your life if, instead of chasing clarity, you learn to live inside the heat of uncertainty? Here's where it gets even darker. Even more honest lust isn't just about her, it's about you. The signs she shows don't exist in a vacuum. They only flare up when something in you pulls them out. A woman can't lust after a man who projects insecurity. She can flirt with him, she can play with him, but real lust, raw, uncontainable desire erupts only when you stand in a space she can't easily control. That's the piece most men miss. They're hunting for signals. But they never ask the harder question, do I radiate the kind of presence that forces those signals to leak out? Think about the times when a woman looked at you differently than usual. Maybe you were more focused, more detached, more occupied with something greater than her. Maybe you walked into the room with a calm confidence, not caring if she noticed. And that's exactly when she noticed. Lust isn't triggered by begging. It's triggered by the man who doesn't need to be chosen, the man who chooses himself first. Women sense this instantly. It's why they stumble, why they reach out, why they keep glancing back when they swore they wouldn't. They lust not because you're available, but because you're just out of reach. Here's the psychological warfare at play women test. Constantly. They hide interest. They disguise desire. They put you through hoops just to see if you'll break. But lust is the one battlefield they can't fully control. Their body betrays them, their voice, their gaze, their nervous habits they slip. And the man who stays calm when she slips is the one who wins. Not the loudest man in the room, not the one performing tricks to get attention. The one who recognizes her crack and doesn't need to exploit it, just lets it exist. But let's slice into reality. Most men, when they finally sense lust, sabotage it by over-investing. They blow up her phone. They try to lock down her attention. They start performing as if the signals weren't enough, and now they need confirmation. That's weakness disguised as pursuit. The stronger play is withdrawal. You let her show desire and then you step back. You leave her replaying the moment in her head. You create absence. Why? Because absence multiplies lust. It forces her to feed the fire herself. Every time she replays that look, that silence, that faint smile you gave her, she invests deeper without you lifting a finger. Here's how you apply this tactically the moment you sense lust. You slow down. If she's staring, you break eye contact first. If she's leaning in, you shift back slightly, making her lean further. If her voice softens, you answer with fewer words. Every move is designed to stretch the tension, not resolve it. That's the discipline most men never master. They think attraction is built by closing the gap. Wrong. Lust grows when you keep the gap alive and make her fight to cross it. And here's the cost of ignoring this truth. You become the man women liked but never obsessed over. You stay in the safe zone, the polite zone, the forgettable zone. You become the man they had fun with but didn't dream about when they went home. If you want to ignite real obsession, you need to stop filling space and start controlling it. You need to let silence, distance, and restraint become your weapons. That's when lust turns into something she can't hide even if she wanted to. So let me challenge you right now. When was the last time you actually felt a woman's hunger for you, but ruined it by chasing too soon? When was the last time you left her replaying a moment in her head because you didn't give her everything she wanted right away? And most importantly, do you have the discipline to hold back when every part of you wants to lean forward? Here's the final truth you need to swallow. A woman lusting after you is not an invitation to lose control. It's a test to see if you can handle the weight of being desired without crumbling into neediness. Most men can't. The second they sense a crack in her armor, they rush in, desperate to secure it, to make something happen. But lust doesn't reward speed, it rewards gravity. The man who can stand still in the storm, who doesn't need to rush, becomes the man she can't forget. This is why detachment is your ultimate weapon. You don't need to tell her you know she wants you. You don't need to ask if she's into you. You don't even need to confirm it out loud. You carry yourself as if the signs are enough. That quiet certainty is what amplifies her desire, because every time she feels her composure crack in front of you, and every time you remain calm and unmoved, she falls deeper into the imbalance between her chaos and your stillness. That imbalance is what keeps her coming back. Think about it when she lingers with her eyes, when her voice drops, when her body leans, when her excuses pile up, when her composure shatters. You already won. The mistake is believing you need to do something to lock it in. The reality is the opposite. You need to do less. You need to let her burn in her own fire while you hold your ground. That's what separates the man she remembers years later from the man she forgets the next morning. And here's the real battlefield. Women will try to mask these signals with distractions. She'll pretend she's not looking. She'll laugh it off. She'll shift conversations. But her body won't let her hide for long. If you're sharp, if you're disciplined, you'll see through the smokescreen every time. That's when you realize lust doesn't lie. It only waits for the man strong enough to recognize it. The shift you need to make is simple but ruthless. Stop hunting for confirmation. Stop second-guessing yourself. Stop overcompensating with effort. The signs are there, and if you see them, you don't need her approval. You need your own restraint. Detachment is not coldness. Detachment is power. It's the refusal to let her nervous energy dictate your actions. It's the ability to sit in silence while she wrestles with her own desire. It's the quiet dominance that says, I don't need to chase because you've already revealed yourself. So remember this, she didn't break you. She revealed what you were too afraid to protect. And once you protect it, your presence, your calm, your self-possession, you'll never mistake lust again. You'll see it, you'll feel it, and you'll let it work for you instead of against you.